Hi everyone, welcome to The Marathon, a show where we interview entrepreneurs that are having an impact in their communities and that are adding value. Today we've got Tinyiko. She's an entrepreneur. She's involved in a couple of businesses. Today we're going to understand, her entrepreneurial journey and we can learn from her. Let's watch this. Thank you so much. How are you, ma'am?
I'm okay, and yourself?
I'm sweet like a lemon. How's life?
Life is up and down.
Life is up and down.
Yes, when you're in business, life can't be stable.
Please tell me about your journey as an entrepreneur. Who you are, what you started, what the businesses that you're involved in.
First of all, I started with NGOs when I was still in high school at Northview High. So that's where I developed everything else. Then I went to Varsity College in Sandton. That's where I did my diploma in public relations. Then after graduating, I think I stayed for 2 years without a job. Staying at home is very depressing sometimes. That's when I decided to start my own business. However, I've been running Funani Foundation for Growth at that time. So what Funani Foundation for Growth does is we tutor learners after school, and then we also help them with their homeworks, prepare them for their exams. And then also we just helping the community at large. One of the biggest projects I did was last year. We helped a certain woman with building a house. She was living in a shack and it was very unsafe. And then I also work with other NGOs. I do their public relations. I help them find funding and do their marketing as well. And then in 2016, I registered Extreme Exposure Prayer Consultancy with my partner, Lucia Matibani. So with that, we do your publicity, we do your media writing, we also edit, we do publications, we do your radio interviews, we do your press releases, and then we also do your TV interviews. And then this year, that's when I started this mobile kitchen. I got the inspiration from my mother. She's a cook. She went to cooking school. By the way, I'm from a business-minded family. I grew up with entrepreneurs. My dad owns businesses. My mom also owns businesses. So I'm not exposed to a background where people wake up and go to work every day.
How was your upbringing? You're saying, you grew up in a family that, your parents are entrepreneurs. How did that impact you in terms of your businesses and just, understanding business at a young age,
Well, my dad is really determined. My father is focused and he's very disciplined. He owns spaza shop, and with your normal spaza shop owner, you don't expect them to have their accounting to make sure that they have their profits, their expenses and everything. So I learned from my dad. With my dad, if I needed money, you don't just get money. You have to work for it. So during holidays, I had to go and assist with one of the shops. That's how we got money. So I think that also built me to be disciplined. I don't just spend my money. I have budgets for everything. You understand? Usually when your parents are entrepreneurs, people expect that you spoiled and everything, but that's not how it was for me. My dad taught me discipline. My dad taught me that whatever that you need in life, you have to work hard for it. So that right now I'm working for my daughter. That's why I'm hustling. That's why I'm disciplined with my finances. Every time I wake up, there's a new business idea for me. I want growth. I want to help people. So with my father, he employs, I think, 8 people. He left the taxi industry. It's very rough, the situation at that. So with the taxis, I think he had 6 or 7 employees. He had 7 taxis by then. And then he sold them. And then those ones, they're also working, assisting with the spaza shops. So I also want to help, the unemployed people. People are struggling in the township.
Yes.
Go to Alexandra, everyone is sitting at home. But then with the business that I'm starting, I'm just hoping that it expands one day and then I'm able to employ other people just to get them off the street. Because crime is very high. Prostitution in Alex is very high because people can't afford food. People can't take care of themselves. So for me personally, business is not just for me to have profit for wealth. It's for me to assist those who are from poor backgrounds, those who can't take care of themselves.
Your business acumen, you learned it from your dad.
Yes.
Right? You're involved in 3 businesses, foundation, PR and the mobile kitchen.
Yes.
You know, you mentioned earlier on that, you know, in terms of your servicing of your PR, you only service the foundations. You know, how did you discover that niche? That, you know, there's a market there in the foundations, because, you know, there's this perception about foundations that, or NPO,
Non-profit organizations.
yeah, that, you know, NPOs, okay, they don't have money. We're always told that, or the image must be it's an NPO, you know. But you going to that market in that industry where, you know, there is opportunity, but it's like
it's light
it's light and
minimal.
And your passion for your township and your passion for your people, you know, that's what really inspires me.
All thanks to my former lecturer, Jan Sneeman. Throughout my 3 years of studying, when it came to work integrated learning for our work experiences, we worked with NGOs. I remember first year we did Reach for a Dream. Do you know them?
Yes. We've
and then
one of our clients, Kaizer Chiefs, they do a lot with Reach for a Dream.
Yes, we worked with Reach for a Dream. We worked with Mesimpilo, it's in Hillbrow. And then I don't remember the last one. So that's why I developed the passion. And that's why I noticed that, you know what, people need help. These NGOs need us. Because, you know, with your commercial PR people, it's not easy that they would assist an NGO because there's no profit. There's no salary for them. But then I dedicated my time and said, you know what, I'm going to work with these organizations. I will make sure that they get the funding that they need. I will make sure that they get the publicity and awareness that they need. So mine there is to create awareness, create education, educate people about all these things, of which they're not out there right now. That's where I developed my passion for NGOs.
And your recent, in terms of the success, my colleague was showing me some of the newspaper clips in terms of the good work that was put out there by some publications to say, you know, you guys are doing an amazing work, you know.
You know, with those publications, I remember we tried your Sowetans, your Citizens, but then they didn't give us the publication space. So I also do the press releases myself. Fortunately enough, we only got limitation though, which was Alex News and Alex Pioneer. But then we're not able to reach out to the entire country, of which we do need business people. We need also the government to come and assist us. NGOs are a very important part of society. Very important. Like recently right now, there's one where they feed kids, they also feed families. But then there's limitations. It's only Pick and Pay which gives them food, and only on Thursdays and weekends. But then if we had enough publicity for the entire country to see that, you know what, we have people who are starving out there, then that would make an impact. That would mean we have more donors, we have the government getting involved and assisting.
Earlier on, we were talking about, you know, the media space, you know, that it's still, as much as we're talking about transformation, but there's certain elements within the media that's not being transformed in our country, you know, that you find certain businesses, they're growing, certain businesses are not growing. And at the same time, we're still saying entrepreneurship is the way to go.
Exactly.
But you find that, you know, brands, those big brands, they're not allowing also small agencies to come and pitch, not to be given job for free, to come and pitch. And then you also have the same aspect where women, you know, our black sisters, they're not being given the opportunity to grow. And at the same time, you know, the great work that you guys are doing, it's limited because, you know, there's no platforms besides social media. I mean, when we're talking about township, we're talking that people, they're still on paper. You know, some people, they're not on YouTube, you know. Some people, they're not on Facebook. They still go and take Caltech's newspaper. They still go read. And those platforms, they are not owned by certain individuals, so it's hard to get access. And in terms of the space, you know, for a woman to grow, what do you think, you know, should be done, you know, as an entrepreneur, you know, based on the challenges that we're talking about off camera, you know?
You know, I remember when I started my PR agents, there's a certain artist I won't mention though. Okay, he agreed to work with us and wanted us to do his publications and everything. But then when we gave him our prices and everything, he came up with stories and he said we're not yet established. But then yet, we're supposed to give him the same services. So if companies, if media companies and private companies as well as celebrities treated us the same way as they treat other major companies, then there would be growth for new entrepreneurs. Because we can't be stuck with old people working in the industry. Where are they opening doors for us as new people in the industry? So it means that if you're a new person entering a certain business industry, you can't have contracts, you can't pitch your business idea because you're not yet well established. How will they know how you're going to offer them services if they don't give you the chance? So frankly, we can't change this. We can't. We can't change this because even if companies were able to hire us as entrepreneurs, then the money won't be the same as what they give to bigger agencies. So the only people who can change this are those bigger companies. Government need to do something about this as well. Go and look for funding. If you're not yet established, you won't get the funding. But then they're promoting this whole entrepreneurship, female business people. But then how are people supposed to start these businesses if you can't have funding? And how will you grow? How will you establish yourself if you can't start from the ground? So these big companies as well as the government, they need to give us a chance. I mean, we also went to school. We also have the same experience. Why are they not giving us opportunities? Because when they award tenders, the same money, they manipulate everything. And then they share with the people awarding tenders. So we're not going to grow. We're going to be stuck like this.
But then now there's this notion to say all the professionals, whenever they start making money, they leave township. You know, they want to stay
in the
burbs, and then they forget going back in the township. You use someone like DJ Spoo, you know. DJ Spoo, one of his brands, Morfire's, actually, when he was trying to break into this whole energy trade, obviously we know there was gatekeepers, just like media. There's always gatekeepers. But because of his following and him knowing who he is, you know what, I'm from the hood. You can stop me in the burbs, but in the hood,
my target is in the hood.
It's in
Exactly.
The hood, you know, and somehow, he's dominated. He's there in every garage, did more fires all over. You know, what's your take about entrepreneurs forgetting the hood in terms of going back to the township? You know what? Cool. These brands, they are not penetrating in the hood, but what can we do as entrepreneurs to try and transform our people, to try and have a say in the hood? Because at the end of the day, Alex has got more numbers than Santin. Pick and Pay, they make more money than Alex because there's more numbers. You know, what's your take about that?
Well, once people make it, they want to leave the townships. Yes, that's fine. But then, if they worked with NGOs, I still go back to that. They need to work with NGOs. Every NGO has got a different vision. Every NGO has got a different mission. There's Linda Twala and Alex. He grew up in Alex, he moved. He's got a mortuary business and everything. But still, he's giving back to his community. He's working with Africa Tikkun. It's an NGO. They're helping train students. I think some of them are employed here at Bytes. If people came back and did the same thing, if you don't know how to start or where to start, approach the proper people, approach your NGOs. They know what the township needs. They know what their people like. Then they will tell you that, you know what, this is what we need. Then that's where you can assist. Because honestly, like with Morfire, he targeted us, the townships. He knew that, you know what, if I can't make this in the burbs, I will go to the townships. And the townships have more people than people living in the burbs.
There's more money actually.
And that's exactly. So they forget, not necessarily that they forget, but then whenever there's a pure crisis, they take advantage of the poor. They take advantage of the poor. and they come back pretending as if they want to help. But then once everything is running smooth, they forget. They ignore, actually, not forget. Because whenever things are bad, whenever they need to fix their images, they go through NGOs and giving back CSI. That's what they do, most of them. They go to poor townships and then write the corporate social investments. So this clearly shows that, you know what, these people didn't forget. They know where they come from. They know the situation from where they come from. It's just that they're being ignorant. They're living their life out there. You're no longer part of them. Forgetting where they were groomed.
Tell me about your NGO, How has it been? How long has it been running? What have been some of the challenges that you faced,
It's very unfortunate. And then we have people with money, I just won't mention names, in Limpopo. I remember I did an event there. They came. But for now, you know what I've noticed with people who grew up poor, some people who grew up poor or grew up in the township, and then once they make it, they come back. They don't necessarily motivate. For me, it's bragging. Don't come here and tell me that your business has grown. You've bought a Mercedes-Benz, you have a BMW, you've got B&Bs, if you're not going to come and give back. That's what I've experienced. I've had entrepreneurs come with the hope that, you know what, maybe you'd help buy a pair of shoes for one learner. But then all you come and do, you call it motivation. It's not motivation. You're bragging about what you have. What are you doing to help me grow and become someone like you? How do people go to school starving? You won't concentrate. You won't concentrate. In Limpopo, where I come from, we don't have a local clinic. We don't. No wonder the high increase in pregnancy rate, they're teenagers. They're not educated. They're not informed. They don't have access to the contraceptions. We have to take a taxi to Toyando, to Manabela, to Vuani. If you need an ambulance, we will get there in 3 hours. But we have people growing, people who are in business making money, but still ignoring those things. So that's why I want to go that side, help.
So that's where you want to focus. That's your next focus for your NGO. And what will be your plea, Because I always say, it's quite interesting when you're touching Limpopo, I always say to people, I love Limpopo. Guys, they'll be like, one, as an entrepreneur, Limpopo is still, there's definitely opportunities.
Lots of opportunities.
In Limpopo, it's the only place when you are walking, when you are in Toyando, in the hood, you see people, big houses on the mountains. What you see in Santi, you see it in Limpopo. The funeral parlors, the Macs, the cars, someone cutting their, But there's definitely great entrepreneurs that come from Limpopo, There's that fighting hunger, But when talking about Limpopo or CSI, there's this perception of CSIs that, I always have to go to Alex to give Soweto, to give Tembis. Whereas there's bigger townships, there's Limpopo, like what you're saying, Limpopo is not just Toyando, there's
why?
Your aspect about brands coming there and what you think should be done for brands to tap there as part of their CSI obligation.
I wouldn't say there isn't enough awareness about what's happening in Limpopo. But then once you do a CSI project, you want to be on TV, you want to be on the papers, you want to be on radio. And those are the areas which media don't focus necessarily on them. But then once you come to Alex, we have your local newspapers. Once you go to Soweto, we have your local newspapers, you have your local radio stations. So there's entrepreneurs, that's where they focus, knowing very well that, we have Limpopo, we have Eastern Cape. Eastern Cape right now, there's droughts. What's been done? Because the only NGO that I see that's working out, it's what do they call them? Gift of the givers. While we have entrepreneurs who could be assisting, but also Gift of the Givers is focused in Gauteng. Are they not aware about what's happening in other places like Limpopo? So I don't know what could be done, but then people must stop being selfish.
Do you have a website where people can reach you? I know we're still in the beginning of it, where people can reach you, particularly for the NGO, you know, and those people that are listening that want to be part of the transformation in the deep roots of Thoyando.
Yo.
You know, not Limpopo like Thoyando.
Hey, mnanlikasani.
Oh, sorry, in the deep roots of
Asandakari, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, we're working on the website right now. Henny Chaban is my partner. I work with him on the NGO. He also does IT, so he's busy working with the website. But recently, right now, we have a Facebook page, and it's called Funani Foundation for Growth.
And then your landline?
Only have landline for extreme exposure. Yes.
Okay. Are you on Facebook? Are you on...
I'm on Facebook. The reason why I'm not too much on other social media, like I said, taxes and everything, so it was a bit risky. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
But hopefully someone is going to listen to this. Please let me know. I'll also partake.
Oh,
I'll be part of the shoes.
I'd be blessed.
I'll be part of the shoes, no?
I'd be blessed.
Awesome. Or books. Just tell me what's needed. Or when you are making a trip, if, you know.
Because what we usually do every year, we get school uniforms. But I was working with a particular school, Bovet Primary School in Alex. We used to get the kids school uniforms and bags and everything else, just for them to start their school and clean slate. Yes.
I'll be part of that. Our company will be part of that.
That would be a blessing.
Awesome. We've touched the aspect of the NGO. Let's talk about the PR. You know? How's the PR going? You know, where do you see yourself as PR? And what has been your success with the PR?
Honestly, with the PR, there's no commercial growth for me. I've committed to working with NGOs. I love helping people wholeheartedly. With the PR, there's no commercial growth for me. That's it.
You're giving back.
Yes, I'll just use it to give back. And if I need publicity for myself, that's how I'll use it. But then in terms of going to your corporate companies, no.
Let's talk about your new venture, you know, your newest, the mobile kitchen. You know, we actually, that's the kitchen got us here. The kitchen. Yeah?
This guy is a professional chef. And then my mom also went to cooking and baking school. But frankly, I don't want to lie, frankly. I'm trying to invest into property. I'm trying to, because there's money there. So I'm trying to have a stable business, which will, you know, once you get married, you need to be there. I want to be, you know, your traditional wife. I'm not lying. I want to be your traditional wife. I don't want to wake up in the morning and go to work. I want to be able to take care of my husband, cook for him, take care of my child.
So hence you went into...
Yes. So I'm trying to save so that I can go into the property business.
Yes. How's the catering business? How's the food industry?
Well, I've been doing this for 5 months now, I think. Yeah, there were challenges though. Because, for example, my dad didn't believe this would work out. But me being a hustler, I managed to raise the money to buy the trailer. You know, sometimes why people are reluctant to work with black businesses, it's our reputation. The guy who did the trailer for me, that's not the design. It's not the quality. I gave him 23K, but things are already falling apart. You understand? So that was one of the challenges which I faced. So right now I'm just saving enough so that I can have it rebranded, have it clean, properly painted. When you sell food, your food has to be clean.
Yes.
The first thing I had when I got here was, you know what, at least you sell clean food. People, I mean, it's food. You have to take that through your mouth.
Yes.
So at least the place where you eat, it has to be neat. Yes, we have mistakes, we flop here and there. When you cook, don't expect food to be the same every day. You know, sometimes we make flops. But then one of the biggest challenges, this guy delayed me, the one who did the trailer for me. I gave him money in January. It was only ready in May. And I had to chase after him. And when you're in business, you have to have perseverance and persistence. Otherwise, you're not going to survive. Especially with food, we depend on people. People can't have money every day. You understand what I'm saying? So also, you know what, this is the peak time, this is the off peak.
This is off peak.
Yes.
But it's money every day. I usually say to my colleagues.
There's money every day, but then there's the peak and there's the off peak. And with food, sometimes the food goes off if the food is not finished. But I get home, once I pack my bag, I have people coming to get food. People who need the food. Yes.
Is there now let's talk about the skills of being an entrepreneur. What is it that you think, for one to make it as a woman entrepreneur, these are the skills that one needs as a woman?
Okay, apart from me doing your strategic management and business management, not necessarily skills, but then, as I said, you need to be persistent. You need to be patient. You can't start a business today and expect it to just pick up like that. That's not how it works. You need to respect the people you work with. You need to respect your clients at all times, no matter how wrong they are. You can complain about them once they have left. Customer is always right. So if you need to make it, you have to be persistent, have perseverance, respect your work, respect the people that you're targeting.
As a woman, in terms of people respecting you, because I usually say it sometimes, like in our organization, our management, it's all women. It's literally women. Sometimes you find with guys, when a woman is saying, I need this to be done. Sometimes there's a bit of resilience, and obvious as people, we come from different backgrounds. Some people, their backgrounds, they're still thinking, I grew up in the rural, which is fine. But
women are inferior.
Yes, women, they're supposed to be just in the kitchen. Until if it's me and then I just come like, hey, what? And then all of a sudden that thing is being done. What were some of the challenges as a woman entrepreneur in terms of your staff, firstly?